What is going on, guys? This is Michael Williams from Cartoon Universe, and we're back, of course, with the next Star vs. the Forces of Evil review. These episodes were Club Snubbed and Stranger Danger, and both of these episodes, boy, left us on some emotional / plot cliffhangers, and I am okay with it because they were really good, once again, probably even better than yesterday's. And we're getting more the rest of the week and next week, so the cliffhangers won't last too long. Luckily, we don't have to wait an entire week until something happens. But yeah, these are really good episodes. The first one was a little more lighthearted. The second one is obviously leading more into some pretty dark territory, which is pretty obvious because we see the girl, the person we've been waiting all of these seasons for, the new star waifu, Eclipsa, in action. And it was a good time. So going over Club Snubbed real fast, I really loved the characters that they had in in this episode. They were extremely comedic. Like I said, this season they seem like they're kind of stepping up their comedic game even more than the last two seasons. So I'm really appreciating it. Whoever designed these characters, definite kudos to you because they were really, really weird and amazing and specific. Very, very specific. And it turns out this was not a flashback, and it all makes more sense once you watch the episode. The scene from San Diego Comic-Con was actually it was near the end of the episode, so all the context before the episode actually makes that scene make a lot more sense than if you're just watching the scene itself without any context. So that makes a lot more sense. And apparently Tom and Star met at the Silver Bell Ball, which is a pretty interesting backstory. I'm guessing it was a year ago because they said that they were dating. They broke up last year, so it was probably the last Silver Bell Ball, or it could have been even the one before, potentially, because we don't know how long between with the time they met and they started dating. We have no idea. But yeah, it was really good. As usual, Ponyhead is over here starting drama, being her ratchet self. I loved how Tom's dad, I think his name was Dave or just something really rare. He's just like a super normal dude. The mom is the giant devil demon lady. She can't even speak words, it doesn't look like. She's just extremely loud and has a deep voice. And the dad is just super normal. Really appreciated that. But yeah, the whole entire episode, Ponyhead, she says that, ignoring people works. Club snubbing, as they call it, works. And the Silver Bell Ball is a tradition. They have a bunch of different families from, different kingdoms, different royal families, I should say, and they just dance with each other because reasons. I don't really understand what the point of it is. I guess it's just to get together and kind of solidify their allyship, if that's even a word. And we actually see Stars really trying to mature, I guess, quote unquote mature, by kind of being a princess and being kind of trying to follow the rules and not start any trouble, because she's kind of had enough. She's really dealt with a lot with Toffee and Ludo Toffee, and it's just been a whole lot, and it's been a gigantic mess. So she's just trying to stay as normal as possible and stay out of trouble. Obviously, the next episode immediately erases that and kind of forces her into a situation where she can't stay out of trouble. That's really tragic for Star, because it looks like Star is really just over it, and I think she's going to get more and more over it as time goes on. And I think by the end of the series, she's just going to be like, all right, let's just settle down, everybody. So we'll have to wait and see for that. That's a ways away. Hopefully the show will be around for a while. But yeah, basically the entire thing is just a montage of people dancing, weird characters, and just Ponyhead and Star and Tom club snubbing other people, and it was an absolute mess. We actually had some same-sex dancing, which was pretty cool. Ponyhead even reacted to it like, oh! So that was nice. Hopefully Disney doesn't censor that like they censored the episode where all the same-sex couples were kissing. I doubt they will, because they actually ended up going back on that. So that was really cool. Nice little dash of, I don't know if it counts as representation. It wasn't really like a romantic thing per se, but I'm glad that they let that be a thing. That wasn't even a thing that most cartoons would even think to do, so that was really cool. But it turns out Tom is getting the hint, quote unquote. He thinks that Star and Marco are a thing thanks to Rubariet's song, which completely just bodied Star's life. He was not club snubbing her per se. He was trying to give her space because he thought he was kind of gonna be too pushy if he asked her to dance, and he would be giving her what she doesn't want. So it looks like Tom really is learning. He's really maturing. He's changed a lot. We do see him go into his fiery rage for the first time in a while, I believe, but he's been trying to really control that anger for a while, and he's doing a very good job. He's really, like I said, we're seeing these characters really mature, and it turns out that Star's like, well, you're just ignoring me. That's messed up. So they end up dancing, and we get the sequence from San Diego Comic-Con. Still such a beautiful sequence. I really love the way it was done. And now Star's catching feelings. She is catching feelings for Tom. So that's going to get very complicated. I don't know where this is going to go. And I apologize to all the Starco shippers out there. In the video when we were covering San Diego Comic-Con, I said it was probably a flashback, and everyone was like, yeah, it's probably a flashback, it's whatever, Starco's a thing. But now it's looking like it's going to get complicated, because now we have a love square of sorts. So now we have Marco is dating Jackie, and Star likes Marco, but Star also likes Tom, and Tom likes Star. So it looks like that might be a thing, and we might get sort of a reversal where Marco ends up breaking up with Jackie and realizes he's catching feelings for Star, as we may have seen in the last episode, Scent of a Hoodie, where he was kind of smelling the hoodie because it smelled like Star. That could have been a tiny hint towards him catching feelings. So this could get very, very messy very, very fast. But they leave off. Tom asks Star to get a corn shake, because that's the thing. And Star's like, yeah, we could do that. And they have a little laugh, and she's kind of looking at him, and she's giving them the eyes, and she's staring at him, and it's gonna be a problem. But that's where we leave off. So we don't know if we're gonna get that date anytime soon via an episode at all, or if that's just gonna be an off-screen thing. But I'm sure we're gonna see more of Tom very soon, potentially in the episode Demonsism. But right now I feel like most of the focus is gonna be more or less on Eclipsa. But that's a good segue into the next episode, Stranger Danger. It is time. So Glossric is a baby dog, sort of. He's like a combination of a baby and a dog. And the only thing he can say is Globgore. That's the only thing you can say. Now, I'm wondering if that means something, if it's like a piece of a phrase that is bigger, or if it's an anagram. I haven't tried to rearrange the words at all yet. If anybody in the comments has an idea of what it could be, it might be something super obvious, but I can't think of anything. Like, what is it, like blog... Vlog ogre. Like, I don't know what that would even mean. So it could be a piece of a phrase, it might be an anagram. I don't think it's anything backwards. Granted, I don't know exactly how it's spelled, but I'm assuming it's Glob and then Gore. I don't know if that's two words, if it's one word, because that would just be erogue blog. So I don't think that means anything. So I feel like that's going to come into play. I feel like it's not just there for no reason. It's obviously there for comedic effect and just to kind of showcase how weird Glossric has gotten and how out of it he is. But I feel like that's going to come into play some way, shape, or form. But that's yet to be seen. And then we see Eclipsa basically right away. She's in the Rose Garden. Glossric ends up running there. He's chasing a squirrel, so now this is kind of his dogness coming out, and Eclipsa grabs him, and we saw this in the trailer. She knows how to control Glossric, which I think is a hint at her power overall. I think that's not just her being friends with Glossric, all being buddy-buddy. I think that actually kind of gives us a hint of like, okay, she's so good. She's so smart. She knows what she's doing so much. She's able to calm Glossric down. So I think that might be what it is. We'll have to wait and see for that too. But she grabs Glossric. Her and Star have a dialogue. It turns out she really does love chocolate. That wasn't an isolated incident. I thought that was just a thing where they're just kind of showing how weird she was and kind of goofy, because she wanted chocolate when she was crystallized from the vending machine. But it turns out she just really likes chocolate. And apparently she says she has a self-control problem. And Star says, me too. So we're getting these parallels already, like we've been predicting for over a year now. Star is gonna go into the darkness. It's happening, and it's really getting highlighted in this episode how much they're bonding, they're laughing, it's all good. And she says that, you know, she wants to look at from the Rose Tower. She wants to look at the garden. It's a beautiful view. And Star says, oh no, that's forbidden, can't do that. It's been always a thing that's been restricted since forever. And she says, well, you know, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. So obviously giving hints to that Eclipsa doesn't really care much for rules. And obviously the High Commission completely barges in, bodies Eclipsa, and this smile boy, Omnitraxis, who is the ruler of space-time, smashes her into wall, and she is not phased at all. Again, really highlighting the power. This is really great writing from the writers and the storyboarder standpoint, because you really get a sense of her power without them really trying to explain it to you. Obviously, the best rule of thumb in most cases is show, don't tell. And they really show it by Eclipsa just smiling as she's getting pinned to a wall by the ruler of space-time. Just think about that. So that's really highlighting how confident she is in her intelligence and in her power, and how composed she is, because she already knows she's got this entire situation under control just by her meeting Star. Now, I don't know how because I feel like she planned that. So I don't know how she planned that, though. That's the only thing I'm not really following. But I feel like she planned to meet Star so she could, well, we'll see in a second, later in the episode. But basically, the High Commission goes way over the top. It's really, really funny. They're trying to figure out if she's evil, if Eclipsa cursed her, looking for evil spots. They kind of do this thing on her cheek marks. So I'm wondering if cheek marks are more of a source of energy and magic, if like that's where they're really like focusing their time on. It's very interesting. We actually see her cheek marks change again to a bunch of roses, which we don't see her cheek marks change that often. We've seen them change 2 episodes in a row now, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know if we're gonna get more lore on the cheek marks per se or not, but yeah, that was pretty interesting. And then we're getting Star questioning the High Commission's pretty racist morals. They kind of explain like, oh, Eclipse is evil, she's bad, and Star's like, why? And they're like, oh, she fell in love with a monster on the left, and we had to crystallize her. And like, she's like, what? That's pretty backwards. It's pretty not cool of you, Mom. Okay, get with the times. It's 2017. All right, people want to date a monster. That's perfectly normal and acceptable. Okay, we live in a better society now. And she kind of explains, oh, well, she did dark magic and stuff, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, okay, but what did she do? Like, did she blow anything up? Did she take over the world? Did she kill anybody? And nobody could think of a single thing that she did, which is pretty interesting, because I do think Eclipsa is hiding something, and I do think there is truth to what the High Commission's saying, but I think their reasonings are just kind of messed up, because they do explain that Eclipsa can get in your head and manipulate, and she's very convincing. And I do think that is true to a degree. I do think we're going to see Eclipsa manipulating Star, but at the same time, I don't think Eclipsa is as 100% evil as they're claiming. I think there's somewhat of a middle ground here that Star is going to end up reaching, and that's probably what her main purpose is going to be by the end of the series. I think she's going to bring the monsters, the humans, everyone together, and I think that's going to be the big thing that she does. But yeah, she's kind of fighting the forces of evil right now, and the forces of evil right now is racism. So, and another thing to note, like, they kind of talk about her doing dark magic and how messed up that is and stuff, but at the same time, dark doesn't always equal evil, and that's, I think, something that we're also going to learn, is darkness can also be used for good things if you channel it correctly. Going back to Kingdom Hearts, for those of you who play Kingdom Hearts, you know, spoiler alert for Kingdom Hearts 2, I guess, if you haven't played that over 10-year-old game. You know, Riku learns to channel his darkness and use the darkness along with the light, but do it for good, and he's not using the darkness for evil. So you can use darkness in the abstract sense for good things. Even in real life, dark things are not always inherently bad. So I think that's also another thing we're going to get. Her dark magic is not inherently evil or wrong, because the all-seeing eye is not... Star used it for a selfish, bad reason, but you could use that for something good, like how she tried to use it to save Glossaric. Like, you can use that dark magic to do something right. So I think that's going to kind of come up later on, but apparently the scene where the High Commission and Star is just flying on Cloudy, and she's got Glossaric on a leash, apparently they are not on a mission. I was right, though, was in this episode. She's actually trying to stop them from crystallizing Eclipsa. Eclipsa is locked up in a dungeon. She's all alone. It's dank, just like the memes, and she's just chilling. She doesn't like it there, but you can tell she's chilling, and Star tries to convince them, like, yo, you can't just crystallize her, Mom. You're going back on your word. That's pretty messed up. You said after Talfi is defeated, you would let her go. and you made a deal. All right, that's screwed up. She's calling her mom out, and she's pretty right. I mean, even unless Eclipsa is totally evil, Star is pretty much right there. So I can't really argue with that. And she says, I want a trial. I want a fair trial for Eclipsa. Not saying I trust her, but I want a trial. And Queen Moon's like, you know what? All right, fine. Queen Moon is so confident that Eclipsa is going to get proven to be evil, and she's going to get crystallized after the trial, that she's like, you know what? We'll do a trial. So no one in Uni, mostly Star, emphasis on Star, no one in Uni has any doubt that Eclipsa is evil, and that's what we're going to do. So Moon is very confident, but Eclipsa is even more confident, and I think Eclipsa was planning on this because Star is suspicious. She goes and visits Rose, but she goes and visits Rose Quartz. She goes and visits Eclipsa from the Rose Tower, and apparently that was Eclipsa's old room, which I'm guessing is the reason why it's forbidden. There's some really weird rodents we've never seen before. We just kind of gloss over that, but it's all messed up. It's dirty. It's broken up. There's thorns everywhere. Probably has to do with her dark magic in some way, shape, or form. And Star is suspicious. She's locked and loaded. She's got her piece aimed at Eclipsa. She's ready to blast some fools tonight if she needs to. But Eclipsa kind of wins her over. I think she's kind of doing that. She kind of makes some snide jokes that are sort of suspicious. But I think she's kind of doing that whole, the best way to lie is to joke about it. Sort of how like Clark Kent jokes about how he's Superman. He is actually Superman. I think she's kind of joking about like getting into her head, like, because Star is, and that also shows how mature Star has gotten, because Star is listening to her mother. She's not just ignoring her, saying, "Oh, you're wrong. Forget you." She's nice. She's actually saying, "Okay, yeah, maybe she can, maybe she is manipulative, but also I'm not entirely sure you're going about it the right way. I'm not entirely sure everything you're saying is fair. So let's make this fair, give her a fair trial." So she's in the middle right now. She is leaning towards Eclipsa. They do bond. They do have a lot in common, obviously, as we've seen throughout the series, but she's not completely convinced. But I think Eclipsa wins her over by the end of the episode, where they look out to the Rose Garden. And that was a very simple scene, but it really sets the stage. Because, it was a very simple scene where she's like, "Oh, it's a great view, isn't it?" She's like, "Yeah, it's a great view." And then it just cuts. So we got another cliffhanger. So we have no idea what's going to happen. We have to wait for the trial till tomorrow, I'm assuming. But yeah, it was a very simple scene to really set the stage of them bonding. And again, Star's descent into darkness. So I do think Eclipsa is hiding something. I do think she's going to end up being the villain. But I do think she's going to have a certain perspective. And actually, there was an interview with Darren Nefsey a few months ago where she said she likes villains with a perspective. She doesn't want a villain just like, "Oh, I want to take over the world." So I think Eclipsa's going to have a point in what she's doing, but she probably is going to go about it in a way that is not exactly productive, but we'll have to wait and see. But I do think Eclipsa is confident that she's going to get off scot-free. I think Eclipsa has an entire plan set up. I think she planned to meet Star. I don't know how. I really don't know how. I guess she was just hanging in the Rose Garden. Maybe okay, here's what I think happened. Maybe she set, this is kind of silly, but maybe she put the unicorn squirrel there, set it for Glossrick to run into the Rose Garden because she likes the Rose Garden. She waited there for Star so she could meet Star because she knew her and Star were going to have something in common. I don't know how. Maybe she used the all-seeing eye spell before she ended up going to the castle. Maybe she has some type of future sight of some sort. I have no idea, but she seems way too confident and way too sure. I'm very suspicious. I think she knows what's going on. So she planned to meet Star. She planned to get locked up. She planned for Star to fight for her freedom, to go on trial, and she knows that there's no solid evidence that she did anything that was actually morally, objectively wrong or evil. So now she's gonna get off scot-free, and then she's gonna start her whole plan. She's planting seeds in Star's brain. She's doing all this on purpose, and I think she knows exactly what is up. But we're gonna have to wait till tomorrow to see how this continues. But that's gonna be it for this episode, or these episodes. What did you guys think? Did you like the whole Star? What is Tom Star? Is that the ship name? Did you like that whole thing? What do you think of the characters in Club Snubbed? And what do you think is gonna be going down with the girl, the new waifu, Eclipsa? Let us know in the comments down below. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe for more Star vs. the Force of Evil. We're gonna be reviewing all the new episodes that are coming out the next week, next 2 weeks. So definitely be on the lookout for that. So hit the notification bell so you can be notified when we release these. And if you like this video, be sure to leave it a like. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've been Michael Williams. You've been watching Cartoon Universe, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.